DeLuca here. Okay, this is another installment of the Do's and Don'ts Challenge. I challenged Chris Jeszeck after the Massey boys challenged me, and she definitely gave me something to really think about with her do's and don'ts. For the do's, I do have to use black. I do have to use a combo of techniques. So I have to use more than one technique. And I do have to use chalk paint. For the don'ts, don't use more than 4 colors. Don't use an air blowing device. And the most painful of all, don't use metallics. I think everybody knows that I am absolutely obsessed with metallics, and this is probably the first painting I've done in many months without a metallic. I can't even remember the last time I did a painting without a metallic. So the colors that I'm going to be using today, I have titanium white in Liquitex Basics, Prussian blue, also Liquitex Basics, and I have, what is the technical, rich black in chalk paint. So 2 birds, 1 stone there. I have no idea how this chalk paint is going to react. I have not used this before. So this is an experiment on a big old gallery wrapped canvas. So cross your fingers for me that, that this goes well. The paints have been mixed, 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol, and that mixture is then thinned with my concoction of 90% water and 10% Floetrol until I get the consistency that I'm looking for. And in this case, it's about a 1.5, maybe a 2. I didn't want to go too thin because I have no idea how the chalk paint is going to react. So I was afraid to go as thin as I normally would with when I do a straight pour. Be sure to check your paint before you pour because the sauce does thicken upon standing. Before we get started, have you seen the Fluid Art inspiration cards? If you have, you can fast forward about a minute, and if you have not, what we have are 52 cards. There are 42 technique cards. Each card has an associated video here on YouTube, each technique card, the picture of the finished piece, a box that has a tip for that particular technique, and a color palette. And then these 2 boxes can be used as the basis of a 2-color palette. You can add more colors to that or just use those 2 together. There are 8 bonus color palette cards. Each one has 5 color palettes. Use all the colors or just use some of the colors. Mix and match the techniques with the color palettes, and you have hundreds of thousands of combinations. And it can be used for more than just pouring. The palettes can be used for beadwork or any other kind of painting, alcohol inks, you name it. These are available at my website, ginadeluca.net. So if you're joining us for the premiere of this, Chris's video will be coming up directly after mine. And I will put the link in the description box to Chris's video for those who are joining us after the premiere. Chris does amazing, amazing work. Her embellishments are absolutely stunning. If you don't know her work, I'm very glad to be introducing you to her because she is amazing. I'm constantly impressed by her embellishing and also just her pours in general. She has a great eye for color, a great eye for composition. And if something turns out that she doesn't love, she embellishes it and then it turns into something absolutely gorgeous. So if you don't know her, you will after this. Before I lay down my base coat, I'm going to put some of my base coat slash background color in my pour cups. I want to make sure I don't run out. The cats are play fighting. Well, I think Satchmo is play fighting. I don't think Bigsby is playing. He's a little older and grumpier than Satchmo. Okay, I think just a hair more, tiny bit. That should do it. Put these to the side for right now. Lay down this base coat. No need to cover the edges this time because my background is white. If I were using another color for this base coat, I would definitely paint the edges first, because straight pours, the nature of them, at least the way that I do them, my paint is very thin and sometimes it does not stick to the edges all that well. So it gives it the opportunity to cover the edges without worrying about how thin your paint is and having to go back and fix it after it's dry, which is what I used to do, and it's a real pain in the keister. Okay, my base coat is down. Go to move this out of the way and continue with the putting of the paint in the cups. I did add a tiny bit of Prussian blue to the black, just in case. I mean, I would rather, if it's going to be gray, I would rather it be in a slightly compatible hue to the Prussian blue, if that makes sense. Okay, here we go. Actually, I'll do this one first. Didn't quite pour high enough on this one. My blue didn't sink. the black. Just checking to make sure it didn't thicken up on me too much. Again, center first. Okay, cups are full. So in the center, I am going to do a slow ring pour. What is a slow ring pour? Well, just something I just made up. If you're doing a ring pour and you do the rings quickly, you will get very tight rings. If you do it slowly, you can get this kind of combination of straight pour and ring pour where it almost looks like a rose. And then on the edges here, I'm going to do just a straight pour. We're going to see how these react. I have no idea what's going to happen, but we're going to find out together. All right, I'm going to pour from up high. So these, well, maybe not too high. I'll come down a little bit. So these blend a bit. Straight at first, and then the rings. Slow rings. Closer as you get to the end. I'm going to reverse direction here. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of a rose action going. Back again, other direction. One more time. Actually, one more time. Just going to give this a little bit of a stretch so that the other pores don't squeeze it in too hard. I'm just going to come in here and tidy up this swirl a bit. My dismount wasn't perfect. Y'all, I had 3 20-ounce cups of coffee today. Going in and doing this detail work is probably not a great idea. Okay. And now for the straight pours. And I'm just going to do these at the same time. Dismount is tricky when you can't use your other hand. All right, let's give these bubbles a pop. Looks like this edge needs a little bit of, it's going to tilt off anyway, that's fine. But it was a little bit of a dry spot there. Okay. Not tilting yet, just stretching. See, this is not moving the way I would like it to. Just kind of freshen that up a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna just catch that edge. I will do the same on this side. Try to bring it back to center and catch that other corner. Bring that center composition back to center. Okay, and now for the remaining corners. Again, back to center. And the final corner. Okay, well, I was expecting more cells because chalk paint is matte, but it has chalk in it. So maybe that keeps it from popping up in the same way. There's just this little bit there, better. this corner didn't get covered the way I would like. Let me see if I can do something about that. I can at least get some kind of color there. And you can just grab some of the drippings from the bottom of the canvas to get your corners the way you like, just so they're not so bare. Just give it a little bit of love. Okay, and then make sure you pull the drippings from the bottom here. You want to do that because you don't want these drips to keep pulling paint from the sides. Let's go the other way. The drips will just keep pulling the paint, so you have to make sure you get them. So I will do it once, and then I will come back in a few minutes, and if I see more, I will do it again. I'm actually pretty surprised that the black just disappeared. That really doesn't typically happen. Black usually takes over. There must be a piece of schmutz right there, because that is not a zigzag. That ain't natural. That's not supposed to happen. I do wish that I had more of the Prussian blue on this side. I am bummed that that kind of disappeared on me. But yeah, there we have it. So I'm going to let this sit for a few, and I will bring you in for a close-up. Back in a few. Okay, here it is. I didn't love it at first, but it's growing on me. I'm getting over the fact that there's no metallics in there. Thanks, Christine. I thought you didn't have a mean bone in your body. I'm kidding. I enjoy a challenge. The black just really disappeared. This is kind of the only place that you can see it. A little bit of it popped up there, but it just sank right to the bottom. You can kind of see it trying to poke through down here. Oh, there's a cat hair right there. See it in the light? It snows cat hair in this house. Every painting comes with at least 3 free cat hairs. I love that Prussian blue. I love it. Such a pretty color. But yeah, it's growing on me. That's what's going on with that. Let me show you the painting from the last video. This is with just the one light, because sometimes that really helps to see what I want to show you. All right, see how that purple center has a gloss to it? and the cells do not. The cells are very matte in comparison. That's a good idea of the true colors, because the metallics do trick the camera. That's going to be so cool when it's varnished. But yeah, typically matte paints do that. So the chalk paint is a surprise to me, but because it's the chalk that's making it matte, maybe that's the difference. Whatever is making paints matte without having chalk in it, whatever that might be, maybe that is what is giving it that hydrophobic effect. Here it is with all the lights on. I just think it's a little more dazzling with the single light sometimes. But there is the dried piece. I like it. Can't wait to varnish it. All right, that is it for this one. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And if you did, please do slap that like button like it owes you money. And do share. Sharing is caring. Check out the description box below for links to Chris's video, because you'll want to check that out. I also was like a little, maybe tiny bit mean with my do's and don'ts. So definitely go check her out and see what she did with her do's and don'ts. Also in the description box, you will find the links to my Amazon store. Anything that you purchase off the entire site of Amazon, you can, I will get a small commission of it, no additional cost to you, as long as you enter through that link. Most of the items that I use are in that Amazon store, but anything that you purchase off of Amazon counts. You'll also find my website, GinaDeLuca.net, where you can find my art, my music, and the fluid art inspiration cards for sale. And last but certainly not least, the link to our Facebook group. Go make some art, join us there, post your masterpieces, ask your questions, get some inspiration. Okie dokie, that is it for today. Let's head over to Chris's page. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Now go make some art after you watch Chris's video.